The danger of unguided decisions. The book of Joshua, chapter 9, verse 3 says, "And when the inhabitants of Gibeon heard what Joshua had done unto Jericho and to Ai, they did work willily, and went out and made as if they had been ambassadors, and took old sacks upon their asses, and wine bottles, old and rent, and bound up, and old shoes, and clouded upon their feet, and old garments upon them, and all the bread of their provision was dry and mouldy. And they went to Joshua unto the camp at Gilgal, and said unto him and to the men of Israel, We be come from a far country. Now therefore make ye a league with us. And the men of Israel said unto the Hivites, Peradventure ye dwell among us, and how shall we make a league with you? And they said unto Joshua, We are thy servants. And Joshua said unto them, Who are ye, and from whence come ye? And they said unto him, From a very far country thy servants are come, because of the name of the Lord thy God. For we have heard the fame of him, and all that he did in Egypt, and all that he did to the two kings of the Amorites that were beyond Jordan, to Sihon king of Heshbon, and to Og king of Bashan, which was at Ashtaroth. Wherefore our elders and all the inhabitants of our country spake to us, saying, Take victuals with you for the journey, and go to meet them, and say unto them, We are your servants. Therefore now make ye a league with us. This our brethren we took hot for our provision out of our houses on the day we came forth to go unto you, but now behold, it is dry and it is mouldy. And these bottles of wine which we filled were new, and behold, they be rent. And these our garments and our shoes are become old by reason of the very long journey. And the men took of their victuals, and asked not counsel at the mouth of the Lord. And Joshua made peace with them, and made a league with them to let them live. And the princes of the congregation swear unto them." So we find here mischief being played out. The enemy of Israel, in order to keep from being overcome by Israel as they conquered Canaan, they decided to deceive them, take to them all kinds of old stuff, and act as if they had been on a long journey. When really all it was old bread and old clothes that they put on to begin with. They were deceiving Israel. Now you say that was a very good disguise there. I mean, they take dry and moldy bread, put on old clothes, and say they come from a long ways away. And it worked. The children of Israel, the Israelites, Joshua, all of them, were fooled by these people's appearance and by what they brought with them. But it was unnecessary for them to be fooled. There was a way around it. We find here in verse number 14 that nobody asked counsel at the mouth of the Lord. Nobody asked counsel at the mouth of the Lord. They were not supposed to make a league with any of the people of Canaan. They were supposed to go in and utterly destroy all the heathen out of the land. That was God's judgment on the heathen because they had been so wicked in their doings. And that was the way God gave Israel that land. So it all worked out in a very fair way. They get what they deserve, and Israel gets what God promised them. They're not supposed to make a league with the people of the land, but these people fooled them. Had they have inquired at the mouth of the Lord, they would have found out that all this was just a disguise, and that they should definitely not make a league. You go on down, read the next verse, verse number 16, "And it came to pass at the end of 3 days after they had made a league with them, that they heard that they were their neighbors, and that they dwelt among them." It come around to bite them. And these people weren't from far away. They were from close by. They done dealt subtly with us and made us make a league with them. And now they cannot destroy them. The danger of unguided decisions. This applies to all areas of life. How many decisions have you made that you did not inquire at the mouth of God? How many decisions have you come to regret because you think, my goodness, if I had have just prayed about this, I might have done something differently? There is a big danger in not seeking guidance at the mouth of the Lord. You say, well, the Lord doesn't speak to me in an audible voice. He doesn't speak to me like he did to the Israelites back then. Well, he still speaks to us. He speaks to us through his word and through the guidance of the Holy Spirit. We ask him in prayer, what should we do? And he impresses on our hearts what to do or what not to do. If Israel had have done this, if Joshua had have done this, they would have ended up keeping from making a decision that they would have ended up regretting, that they did end up regretting. They would have not been fooled by all of this. But instead, they decided to act on their own judgment, and they ended up regretting it. That's what likely will happen. That's what can happen. If you decide to act on your own judgment instead of asking counsel of the Lord. You say, Jacob, what are you talking about? I'm talking about any area of life. If it be so much as buying a new car, or maybe if you're single, who you should date, what house you should buy or rent, anything, even smaller things than that. It is important to ask the Lord first. There is a danger in making unguided decisions. He knows everything. He knows what's best. We dare not lean on our own judgment.